when I started to be in the board of directors of the ABC, I met many other adults that have a stutter, just like me. I felt no longer alone.
Welcome to Some Stutter Law, Newfoundland Labrador's first podcast about stuttering. My name is Greg O'Grady, and I am the chair of the Newfoundland Labrador Stuttering Association and the co-host of Some Stutter Law, Newfoundland Labrador's first podcast about stuttering, along with my co-host.
And I'm Katelyn Mayo. I'm a student and an aspiring speech language pathologist, and I am Greg's co-host on Some Stutter Law podcast.
Some Stutter Law mission is dismantling and rebuilding stuttering. Let's start listening. Some Stutter Law mandate is in the spirit of Newfoundland Labrador humor, robust and frank interactive discussions. Some Stutter Law podcast aims to rebuild confidence and hope for today's and tomorrow's persons who happens to stutter by dismantling stuttering myths, stigma, stereotypes, and barriers.
The objectives of Some Stutter Law podcast are supporting, raising awareness, and increasing understanding and acceptance of stuttering, providing people who stutter, their families, professionals, students, and the general public with current information, research, and resources about stuttering, and promoting the NLSA mission of advocacy and support for people who stutter.
Today, Some Stutter Law welcomes Audrey Bigras. And Audrey, could you share a little bit about yourself and what you do, and just to share some of your lived experience as a person who stutters?
Hi, um, uh, my name is Audrey Bigras. I am an adult who have a stutter. So this is a pleasure for me to be invited in this episode. So I am one of the administrators of the ABC, also known as Association Bégaiement Communication. This is an association based in Montreal that helps the adults who have a stutter in the province of Quebec. So also in my daily life, I am also a research professional in the in a research team in the public college network. So what was the rest of the the question?
See, the next question would be if you want to share some of your experiences as a person who stutters in life. Like what are some of the challenges, difficulties, things like that? Your personal experience as someone who stutters.
Wow, this is such a large topic. So okay, maybe I can start with why did I started to be involved in the stuttering community?
Correct.
Okay. So now I am 33 years old. So I am an adult who stutters, and I started to stutter in the childhood, when I was about 7 or 8 years old. Nobody in my family also have a stutter. So I am the only one. And in the adulthood, I continued to stutter, and at at a, at a certain point in my life, in about my mid 20s, I wanted to know more about stuttering. I said this because in the internet, the media, the the clinical services with SLPs. We talk about the kids that that have a stutter, and you just have to do a quick research on Google, and to see some results like this is an SLP office for the kids. The treatment of stuttering for the kids. There and as an adult that have a stutter, I didn't recognize myself, because I'm not a kid, and I did at in a long period in my life, I didn't really see SLPs. So and also there was the way of thinking, the kind of myths that if the kids that have a stutter works and try really hard, they can overcome it. So I never overcame it. So this is like a lot of pressure that this society puts on the shoulders of the person that that have a stutter, and even even a few weeks ago in the Quebec medias, we also read an article about a successful adult that overcame it. So so I can't recognize myself in these kind of role models. So at a certain point of my life, in the mid 20s, I wanted to how to say it, to know other way of thinking about stuttering, not only the kids, the SLPs thing, and the successful adults that worked very hard and overcame it. So right now I am involved in the stuttering community since 2014 or 15. So it very helping me to first of all know more about it, and to accept it in my life, because in the
Audrey, Audrey, I'm wondering now, listening to you, I know that you know that you do a lot of public speaking because you attend conferences. You attended and spoke so nicely and sharing your lived experience at our first annual conference for the NLSA, Finding Our Voice.
Yeah.
With you seem to be more more involved in the global community of people who stutter by giving speeches. What are some of the issues based on your exposure that you hear from people who stutter? What are some of the main concerns that you can identify from people who stutter?
For the other people who
Yeah,
stutter?
what what do you feel are some of the main issues for people who stutter? What supports? What are they? Other people who stutter trying to communicate as to what they need.
Okay, I think that even in 2021, there is many concerns for the people who stutters. I can say some of them. The first one, and I already talked about it previously. The pressure that this society puts on the people who stutter, to be more fluent and to overcome it. I can also talk about the fact that in this society there is also many myths and prejudices about this stuttering. The people who don't have a stutter don't know the stuttering very well. So sometimes the people may think that this is like shyness or being stressed out, or just breathe and take your time. Did you forget your name? Because many of us stutters on our own name. So if I block on Audrey, it maybe sounds like did you forget your name? And also we are in a society in which a quick and communication is expected, especially with the context of the pandemic. We do a lot of video calls, phone calls, Zoom calls, and personally, when I talk, I think that this is kind of exhausting, because when I talk, when I stutter, this is like the coordination between all the parts of my body that are involved in the speech process are badly coordinated. So this is, you know, in the end of the day, this is exhausting. So and also with the Zoom and the phone calls, even if the majority of the people that know me knows that I am a person who has stutter. I am very open about it, and the people can hear me stutter. This is like, you know, my stuttering is more like blocks instead repetitions, like my name is Audrey. This is more like my name is Audrey. So when some people hear me block on the phone or on the Zoom or Skype, or even with the mask, because with the mask, they can't see my body language and my smile and all. Some people are less patient and may think, just say it, because I block a few seconds, just like I just did it. So
Audrey, I'm wondering now, like, go ahead. No, I'm wondering now, like, are you saying now that having to depend more on Zoom, social media, Facebook, is that causing you more anxiety and causing you to stutter more? No? Okay. What's your thoughts about that? Do you prefer the in-person communication versus the Zoom experience? Like in terms of the anxiety level?
The Zoom calls and the phone calls don't make me more anxious. This is, but I realized in the first wave on the COVID last year, when we were all in lockdown. So because of it, I realized that at that period, I tended to stutter more, but I don't think that this is related to anxiety or the Zoom calls or the phone calls. My hypothesis is because okay, I live alone, and because of it, in the first lockdown, I spent many long period of times without talking. So the lack of social interactions, except on Zoom, Skype, text and messenger on or others. So I talked less. So maybe I had the opportunity to talk less, and so I stuttered more at this time.
I'm wondering, Audrey, like if on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 is accepting your stuttering, 1 is I do not accept it. Where would you place yourself, or is it fluid? Does it vary from day to day of acceptance of stuttering?
Wow, this is a good question. Uh, I think maybe 7. Because yeah, I accept my stutter. I am involved in the stuttering community. I talk about it, and this is no problem for me. But not 8 or more, because this, as I said earlier, this is more hard for me to talk for a long time, because this is exhausting. So some days I I I am like, I want to have a perfect and fluent speech as everybody. So because in the 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 human brain, speaking is supposed to be normal and natural, and in my case, as a person who still stutters in the adulthood, this this is not the case. Like when I when I talk, I am not able to do properly another task or another action, because all my energy and all my focus is on my speech. And like the people can speak while texting, or speak while driving a car. This is a so if 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 I drive a car and I speak with another person next to me, this is dangerous.
Audrey, it is so true. As a person who stutters, trying to articulate a message or getting a few words out can be totally exhausting physically and mentally. I agree. Some days I'm exhausted as well. Now, for a person who stutters, how do you handle? We know it can be draining physically. How do you handle the emotional side of stuttering?
uh, can you explain more that
Sure. When
what you
I'm
want to say
talking,
by
yeah,
the emotional stutter?
when I'm talking about the emotional the side, I'm talking about the 90% of the below the surface of the stutter, the shame, the embarrassment, the sense of isolation. Do you get do you get down on yourself when you stutter? Do you what's your emotional reaction to a bad speaking experience?
uh, Again, this is a good question. Yes, sometimes I could have my bad days and be ashamed and em, embarrassed about it. But I I just try to move forward, and um, you know, this is not the only time in my life in which I will talk and I will stutter, and I am used to it. This is like a second nature. So I remember when I was a young teenager, and when I had to do oral presentation, in the end of every single presentation, I was like devastated. So like I stutter one time, my life is over. So it was like the end of the world, because I stuttered a few times in an oral presentation, and my auto evaluation of my own presentation was only based on the number of my blocks and repetition. Now in the adulthood, I have another mindset about it, because I know that I will probably stutter in a discussion or in an so right now I participate to a podcast, and I stutter. So this is kind of normal to me, because this is a part of me. So so now in the adulthood, I will not beat myself up in the end of my participation to the podcast, or after a presentation in the workplace, because I stuttered while presenting. So
Audrey, I'm wondering if Katelyn has any questions for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
The biggest thing I wanted to ask is, you've been talking a lot about kind of the importance of accepting your stutter and accepting it as part of who you are, and that you've come to on that acceptance journey in adulthood. And I'm just wondering if there's any specific thing or experience or person or anything that kind of helped you on that acceptance journey, that kind of helped you learn to accept your stutter.
Sure. The first thing that comes to my mind is, as I said earlier, my involvement in the stuttering community. When I started to be in the board of directors of the ABC, I met many other adults that have a stutter, just like me. I felt no longer alone, and having meet and many of other people who stuttered, and also friends who stutters, gave me many positive role models, and gave me another perspective of stuttering. And when I started to involve in the stuttering community, I also participated 4 or 5 times at the conference of the National Stuttering Association in the United States. This is like a gathering of 1,000 people who are stutters. So this is like a small town in which this stuttering is the norm, is the majority. So it my involvement in many associations that help the people who stutter gave me another perspective, also because before getting involved in the stuttering community in my mid-20s, I never met another person who stutter. So in my childhood and adolescence, I also had many prejudices about my own stuttering. I thought that it will disappear at the adulthood, or I will getting rid of it. So my involvement in this in the stuttering community also helping me to be more realistic about me and about my stuttering.
Audrey, what advice would you give people who stutter?
Right now, I have plenty of ideas. The first one is get in touch with a local stuttering association in your town or in your province. This is a good start and a good way to meet many other people who have a stutter, to break the isolation, because when we have a speech impediment, we may feel alone with this speech issue. So meeting other people that have this the same speech impediment than yourself is a good way to feel less alone, to have a positive role models. And my second advice would be get the more information that you can get about stuttering. For example, with the stuttering supports group, SLPs, supports group on Facebook, research, because as I said earlier, there's also many myths in this society about stuttering, and I think that the people who are stutters should be well informed about what is really and what can we do to live well with it, and also to keep a critical sense about all this mass of information that we can find here and there about stuttering. So this is my
Audrey,
two main advices.
I'm wondering now, like, I'm not too sure if Katelyn told you about, but she is an aspiring speech language pathologist. She will be going into speech language pathology. What advice would you give her as somebody who is considering to be a speech language pathologist?
This is another good question. I think that Katelyn already did a big step, because she hosts a podcast with people who stutter. So my advice for all the SLP students or the people interested by the field of SLPs and want to work with the person who have a stutter. Go to meet the person who have as I know, because this is easy to to have the way of thinking that all the people who have a stutter want to speak in fluently in with some techniques. So some people who stutter want fluency. Others are less comfortable with fluency techniques. We even talk stutter pride. You know, like the book is Stuttering, Pride and Prejudice. So this is a kind of new mindset in this the stuttering community. So get to know the needs of every people who have a stutter.
That's wise advice. Did you listen to that, Katelyn?
Oh, absolutely. Of course. That was awesome. Thank you.
Audrey, now before we end, do you have any questions for Katelyn and I?
Yeah. In the last year, I participated to the first conference NLSA, and what are the next steps with the association?
The next step, Audrey, is that the NLSA has been quite successful in raising awareness. The next step now is that we need to gather data within the Newfoundland and Labrador province to find out exactly. We don't know how many people who stutter, and we know that there are gaps in service and supports for people who stutter in Newfoundland. So we need to gather the data to as evidence when we're approaching the various levels of government, requesting that these services be established and supports be established. So what we've done now, we have developed 4 surveys, and this is for teachers, people who stutter, parents, and speech language pathologists. And these services will be going out through, excuse me, throughout the province. And so based on the data that comes back, we will be prioritizing the data, and then that will show us the next steps. Okay, but we need the data. We've done a great job building awareness, acceptance, understanding, but that's only the tip of the iceberg. So it's the data, and we don't have the data at this point.
Yeah, this is a big step that attend the NLSA.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, we have come a long way. We have come a long way, and
Yeah.
given that we have, I mean, the NLSA has a group of compassionate volunteers. It's quite, it's quite a significant feat just to be established.
Yeah.
Do
So
you have any more questions for us? Okay. Go ahead.
I don't have any more questions. I will continue to follow the activities and the new development of the association. So as I do, and I am looking forward to hear all the positive things that you guys do for the community of the people who stutter in the Newfoundland.
And thanks again, Audrey, for your time this morning. And this has been a delightful interview. And so it's also nice to just catch up with you as well.
So thank you again for the invitation.
Some Stutter Law, Newfoundland and Labrador's first podcast about stuttering, has so much to say. Let's start listening.
This has been an episode of Some Stutter Law, Newfoundland and Labrador first podcast about stuttering. Some Stutter Law is hosted and produced by Greg O'Grady, Katelyn Mayo, Dr. Paul Decker, and Luca, Dinu. Some Stutter Law is available on Anchor, Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, and Radio Public. To ask a question, send us a comment or suggestion, or just to get in touch. Find us online at Some Stutter Podcast on Instagram, or Some Stutter Law Pod on Facebook. Thanks for listening.